So it's happening. We're here for another Monday Mindset. And the deal with these is that I am here to resource parents so that we can have more resources to bring home to our kids so that we can, basically like build the biggest toolboxes possible for our families, especially in times that test our resilience. That's why I started Raising Our Resilience, which is a full wraparound services, parent education and empowerment company where, we take parents who are struggling with things like how to run a smooth routine, how to get kids on board with rules and expectations, how to build a lifelong relationship with our kids based on respect, appreciation, and love, to get those, proven strategies that make the difference. It's kind of like the difference between things like being fine and surviving them and actually shifting over to, like seeing the opportunities and the gift and the possibilities with everyday life experiences with our kids so that it can be beyond surviving and go to thriving. So here we are together in our Raising Resilience parent group. Those of you who are in this group, you might have seen my little message earlier about being, being a special day. It is my birthday. So I'm here sharing part of my birthday with you. And just a few things I wanted to share quickly. The reason why I am so excited about this training today about growth mindset is because it really literally is the make or break life skill that I've seen over and over and over again make such a difference in sort of like perspective, right? So when you have a growth mindset, you'll do things like say, well, I don't know how to trim my bangs yet, and I don't have access to my hairdresser, so I guess I'll try it and I'll learn and it might be a little bit of effort to figure it out, but I'm going to do my best and see how it goes, right? Not bad, I think. It's a difference between that and saying like, well, I don't know how to do that, so I guess I'll just suffer a bad haircut, More importantly, in the bigger scheme of things, it's really like what we believe about ourselves to be true. So with children, as adults in children's lives, we have to be really careful about how we sort of praise kids or give kids feedback about their abilities, their talents, their personality, their characteristics. Because sometimes we can do this thing that we don't even realize we're doing, and we can push them towards a more fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. Now, Stanford researcher Carol Dweck has this big, body of research around the power of this mindset. And she's the one who coined the term growth mindset versus fixed mindset. And what she would want us to know about mindset is that, there are those of us who have come to understand that having a growth mindset is really key to being able to, continue to put in effort, even when things are hard, which to me is one of the definitions of resilience, right? So like you come up against an obstacle or an unknown, something that you're not familiar with, and you can either give up and back up and decide that's not for me. I can't improve in that. That's not something I know enough about. I'm not, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not that kind of person. Or you can lean in and say, I'm going to stay open and curious. I wonder if I could learn here. I wonder if I stay curious, if I could possibly even, become decent at this instead of, just kind of resigning myself to saying, I'm not good at singing. I'm not good at music. I'm not a musical person, for example. And so if you have a growth mindset, you're a person who will focus on what strategies you're using and put effort towards those strategies and really like try and approach things and get creative and like try to find a way so that you can actually stretch yourself and grow and learn. And what we've learned is that folks who have a growth mindset have better outcomes. So what a great thing to give our kids. For example, they're more likely to take advanced courses. They're more likely to go for a career that they really care about, even though they don't have a lot of skills in it yet. They're more likely to bounce back from a setback. Like let's say, they're career ends or something, and then they have to figure it out and find a new career direction, they're less likely to slip into anxiety and depression and more likely to see it as an opportunity to develop themselves. And the core piece there is that word, develop. Like having the belief that you can develop yourself. Now, there have been hundreds of studies to follow up on Carol Dweck's original study, which I'm going to share with you in a moment. But, one of the things that's been really surprising and interesting in the last several dozen studies around mindset is that it's not just skills like trimming bangs or knowing how to hit a note or, shifting from, biology to engineering or something. It's not just skills and like what you can do in the world. It's even personality traits, character strengths, and like those soft skills. People can improve on those things. Now, everybody has a different baseline. You're kind of born with like a propensity for or a capacity for different things, but everybody with effort can improve. And we're finding that like you can even cultivate things like gratefulness. You can cultivate your sense of optimism. You can cultivate your strength and bravery, right? You can be more courageous. Brene Brown has made an incredible career off of, daring greatly. And just the fact that you could actually take your current level of courage and increase it. It's something you can do with strategies, with effort, with practice, with mindset, with the way you look at things. So why we'd want to give this to children, this is my gift to you. This is my birthday, but it's also my gift to myself. When I found this research, it changed my life and how I view things that I normally would have maybe given up on or stayed away from or not even tried. Like, I'm not one of those people. Like, I used to think like, I'll never be a good musician. And so I just didn't pursue it. And then when I learned about growth mindset, I realized like, oh, like it's not too late. Like I'm still like, I have neuroplasticity. I can still learn. I can still grow. And I got myself a piano and I got myself piano lessons for a year, like in my 30s, and learned some basic like music theory and like my fingers know chords and things on the keys. And now I can enjoy this whole area of life I like unlocked, right? But let's talk about, some classic ideas around like motivation and effort. Okay. So if you were to say, I would love for my child to be motivated at school, what would that look like? Put it in the comments right now. I'd love to hear. What would it look like for you, for your child to be motivated at school? And at school work, in this case now, since we don't know if we're going to be back to school in person, but just like in an academic setting, what would it look like for your child to be motivated? I'm just moving my thing here so I can see your comments and things. So yeah, go ahead and put comments in the feed here, because I want to know what that would look like to you, even if you're watching this as a recording. And the reason why I want you to do that is because I want you to notice some qualities of that person, of what your child would be like if they were motivated at school and really, willing to lean in and learn and things like that, right? Really engaged in school and in school work and learning. Well, generally we look for things like this. That they're willing to try the next level, right? So they finish a problem set in math and they're like, yeah, teach me the next thing so I can learn something a little bit more challenging. I'm ready for the next challenge. Another would be willing to like get work back and look and have corrections and do the corrections and try to discover like, what did I miss the first time around? And what do I need to know for next time? Those kinds of qualities. Another would be just, enjoying it, right? Like just enjoying the process of, trying something challenging and having a breakthrough about it. So Carol Dweck's research was really interesting because she set up a situation. Oh, I've got somebody here. You can say hello in the comments. Let me know what it would look like to you. What does it look like when your child is really motivated and engaged in schoolwork? Like what do you see them doing? So I was just naming a few things. Let me know where you're tuning in from. So what Carol Dweck set up a study where she had the kids take an IQ test that was, kind of just one of those like brain puzzle type things. And what she did is she split the group into two groups. One, after the test, was praised for their intelligence. Like, wow, good job. You must be really smart at this. Okay, so that was like the intelligence group that was praised for their intelligence. Another group was praised for their effort. In other words, how much they leaned in and tried hard. Yeah. And they said, wow, you did a really good job. You must have really tried. You must have really worked hard and tried hard at this. And then that wasn't what that wasn't the real test though. The real test is what happens after they receive that line of feedback, right? Take the test, get the praise, and then they're offered a harder version of the test. And they said, hey, this is going to be a great opportunity for you to learn and grow, so you could take this version as your second test, or you could take an easier version, which you'll surely do well on. Interesting choice, right? Well, the kids who were praised for their intelligence, 67% chose the easier option. More than half. I'll explain why in a sec. Whereas the kids who were praised on their effort, 92% of them chose the harder test. Almost everybody. Like that would be like a landslide victory, right? In an election or something, like 92%. What a huge difference, right? So then what Carol Dweck explains is that when the child or adult hears like, wow, I think you're, you must be so smart at that. They're receiving it as like, you are brilliant and so talented. And then they're thinking, oh, that's why you admire me and that's why you value me. So I better not do anything that would possibly disprove this evaluation. So in other words, once praised on being smart, and this is like, oh, you did this and it means you're smart, kids will often hide out, people will hide out behind that sort of wall of approval, saying like, oh, no, I'm good. You don't need to test me further because it could mean that I'm not smart. And so what it's pushing them into is this idea that a fixed idea of you're smart or not smart, or you're very intelligent or you're only a little bit intelligent, right? So, and saying like that's a fixed quality in you and that's what we're evaluating you for. Whereas the kids were, who were praised for their effort, they don't have this idea of needing to sort of protect and play it safe, right? And so they're more likely to want to, keep going and say, hey, like, you know what, maybe it's more about like the process and the progress. And if I make a mistake, like you won't think I'm less talented, or they think, oh, if I take on the hard things and stick to it, I can continue to improve. Now, which would you rather have? A child who hides behind a wall of, temporary approval of their of their fixed quality, right? Or a child who's willing to strive and say, I'm going to continue to improve. Let me keep trying and maybe even enjoy the process of developing themselves. Well, clearly the development piece, right? There's that word again, developing, right? And that growth mindset is what we're after. So what happened? Another thing they did is they gave the kids an impossible test, like a test that they really actually couldn't do that well at. And it was amazing what happened. The kids who were praised on their effort worked harder, worked longer at it, and reported enjoying it more. And this is a test that's rigged, like they're not going to do as well on it. It's a really hard test, but they kept trying at it. Yeah, you can see the difference. Well, with the kids who were praised with their intelligence, they became frustrated, they gave up, and they gave up early. And they were also less interested in finding out what the right answers were after the test. They're like, no, I don't even want to do it. So that, small percentage of 30, I think it was like something 33% of the kids who chose the harder test were given that impossible test, and they really had a bad time of it, who were praised for their intelligence, right? So then they gave a final test. This is the fourth thing. They gave a final test that was actually even easier than the first test. And this is the part that really gets me. The group that was praised for their effort, they did 30% better than the average. They really excelled at that test. The kids who were praised for their intelligence, their scores dropped to 20% lower than the average. That's a 50% gap in achievement. from one experience with one line of praise for one tiny little area of life. So what I want you to have is this understanding of how powerful it can be when we give children feedback about themselves, and we either praise their efforts and their willingness to keep trying, and kind of model for them what it's like to, say things like, well, I don't know how to do that yet, so now I'm going to learn how to do that, so that soon I'll have a better understanding of it and I will improve. Versus, oh, I'm not good at math, or I'm not good at that, and I'm just not that. That's just not for me. And we model a fixed mindset. Kids, we don't want to limit their potential. We want to unlock their potential, right? So what I would challenge you to do is really take a look at your own mindset. Do you believe that there's something about yourself that you can't improve that you actually could? Is there something you're holding back on that you really shouldn't be holding back on yourself, that you're modeling to your kids? Yeah. So that's for the homework for yourself. And the second thing is to really notice how you praise your kids. What are you praising them for? Are you praising them for their effort, for their curiosity, for their willingness to try, for, finding the opportunities and the setbacks, for making mistakes and learning from them? Or are you telling them that they're smart? Are you telling them that they are, artistic? Are you telling them that they are these fixed things that sound like they either are or they aren't? And just be really mindful, please, of how you talk to your kids, especially about them. I remember sitting at a piano, going back to the piano story, when I was, I don't know, maybe 10, 12, and I had learned this difficult piece, but I wasn't quite getting the timing down, but I had figured out all the fingering of it, and I played it. And I had a relative say, "Oh, wow, Vanessa, yeah, sounds like you're working on something there." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm working on this thing." And he said, "You know who's really good at piano, who's really musical in our family? Your uncle." And then left the room. It was enough for me to actually quit piano. And I know it comes off probably harsher than it was intended, and you maybe have not said anything quite that kind of obvious, but listen to the message in that. You know who's good and who's musical in our family. In other words, it's a fixed thing. You've got it or you don't. You clearly don't, because I'm not praising you for being musical, right? And I am praising this other person. So that message alone was just so really sat with me. Yeah. And then when I learned about growth mindset, like I said, I was like, you know what? I'm going to challenge that idea that I'm not as musical as my uncle. I'm going to challenge this concept, right? And see if it's really true. I'm going to test it out. And sure enough, I have musical abilities, and I'm growing them. And I noticed that they're better when I've been practicing, and they're less good, much worse when I'm not practicing. And it's more about almost like a muscle that I'm developing. And I get to do that. I get to choose what I develop about myself, and so do our children, and so do you. So growth mindset is my big birthday gift to you, my birthday gift to you. And what I would love, what would mean so much to me, is if we could continue to build our community in the Raising Our Resilience parent group. So if you're listening on the Raising Our Resilience sort of public page, it's the one with the circle and the hands, please consider sharing this post with parents in your world who right now might be feeling a little isolated in shelter in place and needing more parents to connect with, who would really love to hear more free strategies and tools, especially around building resilience and navigating big emotions and motivating your kids and things like that. All of us have someone in our lives who could benefit from these things. And it just means so much if you could share. Just hit the share button at the bottom and share it with them. And if you yourself are a parent, go ahead and head up into the top part and join our group. Request to join. It's really easy. You just click the link and then click join group and just answer a few questions. And if you feel like it, sharing your email with me so that you can get a guide with 6 strategies to keep your cool in the moments that test your patience the most. We just did a great training on it last month, and parents were loving the strategies. There's 6 different tools that you get to have, a free guide. So that's a way you can do it. Just come join the group, share your email with me, let me know that yes, you would like that guide, and I can also send you tips and tricks into your inbox. So I would love to continue this conversation with you. Thank you for checking this out. And if you're in the group, my big ask would be just invite 10 friends. Head over to the little invite box that's in our group and just invite some folks. It's really easy. It's really fun, actually. There's just this little box on the side that's really easy to go to. And it would mean so much to me to continue to grow our community here. And I'll show you, it's right here. Hopefully I'm showing you the right screen. Let me see. Let me do it one more time just to make sure. Usually it shows me. We'll do this one. Yeah. So go ahead and head over here where it says invite members, and you can just type in names of friends that you think would really love to learn here. Like let's say I wanted to invite Shannon, I would just put her here, and then I click on her name like this, and it just whoop, sends an invite. It's real quick, it's easy. And if you wanted to put a little note and personalize it, you can say, hi, I found this great group, come join, come hang with me, you know, etc. And then you can go ahead and hit and put in people's names and invite them that way. It would mean so much to me, and I would really appreciate just being able to grow our community, help more people. That's what my mission is. I've spent the last 10 years learning a ton about motivation and resilience, and really taking care of the social and emotional health of school communities, of students, of teachers, and especially parents. I've built a company called Raising Our Resilience so that I can empower parents with strategies and tools. We have a great cohort that's just starting up here in July with 10 great families just joining us for a year-long academy, which we run every January and July. And so, if these are kind of things that you're really excited about, it's a great reason to just bring people in and have them come and hang with us. And it's my honor, and what I'm grateful for is having found all of these great resources when I needed them as a teacher and later as a step parent. I just kept finding the right mentors and the right articles and the right books, and just kept going down those roads. And I can happily say that, I have developed myself in the process so that I have a different skill set than I ever would have before I started working with kids and raising kids. And that's what I know is possible for every parent out there. I want you to have it too. So thanks for being on this journey with me. We'll be back next week at 2 p.m. I'm going to be debriefing about how our 3-day Motivation Mastery weekend goes. We're doing a virtual retreat experience this weekend. Care packages have been sent. Agenda is all out, like ready. Interactive activities are getting set up. Got a lot of great guest speakers coming in. I've got a relationship coach, Imani Aisha out of Atlanta, a wellness practitioner, Dr. Leah Meadows. Chris Lamar is going to be joining us, a strategic life coach, for the week after in my immersion program, supporting us with, making sure we have our passion in our lives and really great morning routines of self-care for ourselves so we can manage our stress. And it's just been so much fun to bring all of these resources together. And this is one slice of it right here. So I'm so glad you made it here and got to this part of the recording, which means that, this is something that is for you. So I'm glad to give it to you, and let me know what your takeaway is in the comments. Tell me about it. And I'll get a chance to respond and get to know you better too. So that's our training for today. See you. And for those of you who are in the group, I'm going to be launching a little mini contest just for the rest of the month for my birthday, which is an invite a friend contest. And you can either have a $25 Amazon gift card or a $440 credit towards coaching with me. Okay, so it's kind of a choose your own adventure there. I think I know what you'll choose, but it's up to you. And so all you need to do to play is find the post that says invite a friend game, summer game, and go ahead and invite 10 people, and I'll be able to see that you invited them, and that qualifies you to be able to join the contest. I'm giving an extra entry into the contest for every single person that you invite who actually joins. And so you'll get double, triple, quadruple the entries into the contest that way. And then I will announce a winner in a couple weeks. So come play the game. It'll be fun. And continue showing up here and sharing resources. And we'll see you next time. All right. Lots of love. Bye for now.